Hey, what up, guys? I'm Austrian. In today's video, we'll talk about the Outlast trials. So in this video, I want to give you my honest thoughts about the Outlast trials. After many videos, I watched gameplay videos, behind the scenes, making offs, and many hours I've spent in the closed beta, read about the game, just soaked it all in. So I think I have a pretty good idea on how the game ends up. So in this video, I want to give you my thoughts about it. I want to divide this video in multiple parts. First of all, I want to talk about the plot, then about the gameplay. After that, I want to touch on the overall sound design. Next, we'll talk a bit about the multiplayer experience and then my final thoughts. Without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start by talking about the plot, about the story. We know that the Outlast trials plays before the original Outlast, before the DLC Whistleblower, and before Outlast 2. We also know that it's based on real-life events. It's based on a secret operation conducted by the CIA called MK Ultra. I made a separate video on that, talking about that in length. And, you know, just knowing that it's based on real-life events, real-life experiments, you know, you name it, drugs, psychedelics, deprivation of senses, stuff like that. It makes the game so much more intense and creepier and scarier and just more interesting. Like, what exactly was MK Ultra all about? You can read on it, you can, you know, see some documentaries, but now we can, to a certain extent, play the experiment as well. Very, very interesting. You also are the experiment this time around. You know, in Outlast, we saw the aftermath of the experiment, but now we are the experiment. Like, what exactly led to the point, what exactly led to the downfall of the Mount Massive Asylum, right? I think it's a very, very interesting story. Now, let's talk about gameplay. It still feels like the original Outlast. I know that people got so, to a certain extent, upset, right? How is it possible now all of a sudden I can't fight back and stuff like that, right? Hiding and running away is still very much a good idea. I mean, if you saw my gameplay and my playthrough of the closed beta, I barely threw anything and used any items whatsoever when it comes to attacking, right? Because I'm still scared. I'm still running away. I can still hide in closets, under stuff, right? In stuff. So it's still very much a good idea. If you can't help it, you can, you know, try to stun someone to gain more distance, but running away still very much a good idea. So it still feels like an Outlast. So that is that. I also like the fact that the missions get very dark, it seems like, and very evil, right? For example, the snitch mission. We don't know a lot, but, you know, we inhale that gas and that voice is telling us, you know, kill him and we'll let you go, stuff like that, right? In the intro. And, you know, it's pretty dark. It's very dark, actually, but it's very interesting, you know, how the player, just because he believes in freedom or whatever, right, is forced to a certain extent, or led or pushed to conducting very cruel tasks. So that is very interesting as well. And of course, you know, stuff like the new stuff they added with like psychosis, with the Skinner Man. It's new features, and I think I definitely like them. They feel just right in the Outlast universe, you know, making sure that not just your life, not your health, not just your stamina, but also your mental is at the right place, which is, you know, the psychosis bar. You know, it has 3 bars, I believe. 3, you're in full, you are sane, right? The sanity bar, I think it's called. 3, you're super sane. 2, you're approaching psychosis. Game changes a little bit. 1, very close to psychosis. Fake Skinner Man appears, stuff like that, right? 0 bars of sanity. Skinner Man comes and hunts you. Very, very cool. Now, let's touch on the overall sound design. Sound was always so important in the Outlast universe, especially I felt like in the first Outlast, and I think this time around as well. It just has like great voice acting. The guy in the first mission, the police officer, right? The way he talks, the way he grunts, the way he just conducts himself, very, very realistic, it seems like. And of course, stuff like sound during psychosis, how, you know, the sound is echoed to a certain extent the second you are in psychosis. So, you know, it changes a bit. And stuff like, you know, ambiance, there's always something going on. You feel like if you're listening to it, and of course you should always use headphones, even though it's more scarier, but it makes it more intense because there There's always something going on in the background, you feel like anyway. And there's my favorite thing, which was like, what is going on? The first time I played it, it was so intense. It's the Sleeper Man. I think he's called to the Sleeper. The guy that is just, in another universe, it seems like, head up and breathing very oddly, the way he breathes, it is so creepy. It's a mixture of snoring, of choking, of breathing, and of course, the minute you approach him, touch him, get, I think, even too close to him anyway, he starts exploding and screaming and stuff like that, right? I really look forward to learning his story, by the way. I don't think I found any files on him in the beta. Maybe you guys did. But I really hope we learn more about the Sleeper. That is so intense. Now, one thing is a lackluster, I felt like, and that is the second you get caught by one of the enemies. Historically, when you got caught, especially in the original Outlast, you knew exactly, like instantly, you knew I am in trouble. Because the instruments would go crazy, the music starts popping, even the enemies talk to you like, hello doctor, stuff like that, right? Now, I'm not even sure, hey, did he see me? Because the sound is so odd, the sound. I hope I can play a clip of it. It's just not, the way it was in the original Outlast. Now I'm like, is that just the background music or am I caught? I hope it gets more intense. Of course, a huge point is the multiplayer experience. Of course, we know that you can also play it up to with 4 people, so you plus 3. Or, of course, if that's more your cup of tea, you can also solo the whole game. It adds new features. That is the cool part, like taking shortcuts. I found one in the first mission. You have stuff like, fake teammates that just come out of nowhere. They even have a name over them, right? And they start stabbing either you or your friends. Very, very cool touch. And yeah, so that is that. It also adds one big thing, which is fun. I mean, just listen to this. Laughter. Did you ever laugh while playing an Outlast game? It just feels a bit odd, right? I mean, it can be scary, and it can be fun. Stuff like what's the game called again? Dead by Daylight, right? That's a fun game, but it can also be a scary game. You got the last generator, all of a sudden the killer comes and stuff like that. You're scared, you're laughing, stuff like that, right? I don't want that with the Outlast Trials. I don't want that in the Outlast universe. Fun, alright, but I don't want to laugh and stuff like that. It just feels so odd, and it kind of kills the immersion of being this institution and in this experience, stuff like that, right? So I'm not too sure about that. I guess it depends on you as well. Maybe if you play it with friends, all of you are super scared. But I had the experience that it was almost too fun to a certain extent. So final thoughts. Once again, I really like the plot. I'm looking forward to learning more about the downfall of Mount Massive Asylum. And, just overall more about MK Ultra, more about characters like the Sleeper Man, Skinner Man, of course, what's up with him, stuff like that. The sound overall is great. Just the one thing I don't like is the queue when getting caught. I hope that gets bit more intense, but other than that, great ambiance, great voice acting, so I really like that. Great characters as well. Once again, Skinner Man. Is that even a character? Well, I guess it lets it slide. The Sleeper, the police officer, Mother Gooseberry, and I'm sure we'll learn more about them and just experience more and meet more dark characters as we progress. Maybe we'll even see stuff like Chris Walker, Project Wall Rider. We'll see about that as well. Maybe we'll see them by the end of the game. And when it comes to going multiplayer or not, I think what I'm going to do is solo the game. First run will just be me experiencing the game by myself. And yeah, I think that's just more intense, and I think that would be more my cup of tea. And maybe afterwards playing it with you know, in multiplayer, stuff like that, right? Experiencing the game with others. But I think that's what I'm going to do. Play it solo first and then try to maybe go with the multiplayer experience. But I think it feels more true to the Outlast universe just playing it by myself. Well, that being said, that's for this video. So what do you think about these 5 points? Do you agree with the stuff I said? Do you disagree? Do you want to add to it when it comes to the gameplay, multiplayer especially? Do you share my opinion, or are you actually looking forward to playing it with friends? Please in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll catch you guys later. Midsound signing out. Peace.